William Hill sponsors IFL TV.
I'm the man to beat Daniel Dubois. We're going to sleep.
This is UMAR AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in New York City. It's a beautiful day, but it's a strange atmosphere amongst the Brits here. Shocking sort of events last night. Just want to get your thoughts on it, Dave.
Yeah, you know, the Joshua fight. I thought Ruiz was a good opponent. Like, I thought he'd give Joshua rounds and he'd win a few of the early rounds. Obviously, I didn't envisage what actually played out, but should give all credit to Ruiz. You know, it's a great story. 5 or 6 weeks' notice, comes in, everyone writes him off, and he knocks out the champion. Drops him 4 times in the process. He looked good. Ruiz, like everyone knew he could fight. You know, the Parker fight was close. He's beat everybody else that he's faced. Joshua didn't look himself for me. Like, he just he looked flat. Far be it from me to talk about his technique or his coach saying this and anything else, but to me he looked flat. He just looked bereft of ideas from the first round. You know, he came out straight on the back foot, being pushed back and jabbing from his hip. No real defence. He seemed to, as soon as he got hit in the second round, he was just gone. It was just, it was very odd. It wasn't the Joshua from the Klitschko fight. You know, he got put down. He went through the storm and he recovered. And he came back last night. He just seemed flat, but you can't take nothing away from Ruiz. So, a very odd one. It was an odd watch, to be honest.
I know you've rate Joshua very, very highly. Where do you sort of compare this shock in terms of Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas, Lennox Lewis, Hasim Rahman? Is it up there?
It's difficult because when Lennox Lewis got beat by McCall and Rahman, there was one shot. There was just one shot. He got hit with one shot. He got put over. Couldn't get up for 10. Last night was a bit of a beating. It was a 4 or 5 round beating. He was out hustled. He was out punched. He was bullied. At the end of round 6, the last minute, he never threw a shot. He just was getting beat up, you know, by a 6 foot, 19 stone man who is a very, very good fighter, but nonetheless. And at the end of the day, he quit. He quit at the end of the 7th. I think it was the 7th.
You believe Joshua quit?
I believe he quit. You know, but I think something will come out it all comes out in the wash, and I think something will come out. I think maybe he's been knocked out in sparring in the last couple of weeks. He's not been feeling very well. Something like that. He boxed. For me, I was sat with people and I said, look, he looks a little gun shy. You know, he didn't look like he wanted to get involved. And Joshua, for me, is just a phenomenal athlete. You know, he's never been. You know, he hasn't got the skill of a Roberto Duran. You know, he's not that kind of fight. He's not like Floyd Mayweather. He's not going to turn up and dazzle us with his skill, but he's a great athlete. And last night he just looked flat. There was nothing there. So I think it's a very difficult one to come back from, because it wasn't just we can't just say it was a lucky shot from Ruiz. It was a sustained beating, and he looked like he was disinterested at the end. And you know, you'd have to say he quit at the end.
There's a lot of people out there who believe Deontay Wilder knocks Joshua out and Tyson Fury sort of boxes his head off. Do their arguments get more validated after last night?
You know, the thing with Joshua last night, it was just it just didn't seem like it was the same Joshua we've seen in the past. I think him and Wilder's a shootout. I think it always has been a shootout. The first man to land would win that fight. I always thought Tyson would outbox Joshua for spells, and it would depend if Joshua could land the big shot. You know, after last night, you have to worry about his engine, his chin. There's loads of worries, and there's always been question marks around him.
You question his heart as well?
I think it has to be a possibility after last night. I think he had the fight beaten out of him, though. You know, it wasn't. He just looked disinterested from the start. You know, I've been told he was saying odd things to Robert in the corner. I was told, you know, the little massage of the neck. He had bumps and bruises around his face on the ring walk. An odd one. And I've never been Anthony Joshua's biggest fan, but I've always admired him and respected him, you know, for the excitement that he has brought to boxing. But last night, you have to say he was pretty poor, you know, and there'll be a queue a mile long to boxing if he doesn't get the Ruiz rematch, which it looks like he may do. But if he doesn't, the queue's going to be a mile long.
I'm pretty certain that rematch will happen because Joshua will want his belts back, and it's all sort of in the contract clause to happen in England.
Yeah.
If he loses to Andy Ruiz again, though, where does that leave Anthony Joshua?
I think that finishes him, you know, because it's not like me. I could lose to Andy Ruiz and carry on and just keep going and going. And you know, he loses, what does he do? You know, what's he going to do? Drop down to European level, get a few wins, and then
fight you?
Yeah, like it's an odd one. I hope the British public don't turn on him, and you know, I see the stuff on Twitter, and I don't take no. Like I've always said, I've never been his biggest fan, but you know, we're pretty low right now, and you know, hopefully it goes away, comes back at 100% November, December time, and he takes the rematch, and we see who the better man really is. You know, last night, I've said Ruiz is the better man, but I have question marks over Joshua's well-being going into the fight.
Well, Dave, I just sort of wanted to get your reaction on last night's events. We're gonna, well, me or Kogan will have a proper catch up with you before the David Price clash, but just a quick one on it. Just how are you feeling, sort of a month out now from it?
Yeah, I feel great. Training's going really well. Me and Darren are really putting it in, you know, and you know, last night again opened up the division a little bit more. You know, I mean, if the rematch does happen, you know, and Joshua wins, it gets all the belts back. But if not, Ruiz, I don't think Ruiz will be afforded the same luxuries with all the IBF, WBO, all these mandatories. You may have to give a belt or two up. It brings me a little bit closer, you know. I have to beat Price, beating Price. Every professional fighter in the world, I don't care if your record's 20-0 or 0-20, you're 3 wins away from a world title shot, whatever happens. You've got to get the fights, then you've got to win them. You know, I can get the fights, I've got the Price, that's step one. Win that, you know, we go again. Win that one, we go again. You know, if them 3 wins are big enough, we get a world title fight, and that's what I'm looking at. That's what's getting me up every morning. Things are going great. I'm looking forward to the Price fight. I think it's a difficult fight. He's got the pedigree, he's got the size, he's got the ability, but I'm confident.
All right, Dave. Top man. Safe travels back to the UK, and as I said, we'll catch up soon.
Likewise, thank you.
Cheers, brother.
William Hill sponsors IFL TV.
I'm the man to beat Daniel Dubois. We're going to sleep.